Welcome to The Explainer. You've seen them, right? Those absolutely mind-blowing AI demos that look like pure magic. Well, today we're going to pull back the curtain and look at the huge hidden world of what it really takes to get that magic out of the lab and ready for the real world. And this one sentence from a Google white paper just perfectly nails the huge paradox that everyone in AI is facing right now. Seriously, building a clever little agent demo, it's gotten surprisingly easy. But actually trusting that agent with your customers, with your private data, with your company's reputation, well, that is a whole different ballgame. And it's incredibly hard.
You see, the gap between that cool prototype and a rock-solid production system, that's where disaster strikes. And I'm not talking about small stuff. I mean, a customer service agent that just starts giving away free products, or a system that accidentally leaks confidential company data to the public. These aren't just hypotheticals. This is what happens when you skip the hard part. And that brings us to a pretty shocking reality. That flashy AI demo that got everyone so excited, yeah, that's maybe 20% of the actual work. The other 80%, the vast majority of the time, money, and effort, is spent building the invisible foundation. The security, the testing, the infrastructure that makes an agent something you can actually trust. So, here's how we're going to break this down today. First, we'll look at the pre-launch gauntlet. Then, what it takes to be live and learning. After that, we'll talk about building an agent society. And finally, we'll tie it all together with the Agent Ops playbook.
All right, first up, the pre-launch gauntlet. Before an agent gets anywhere near a real user, it has to survive this series of intense trials. They're designed to prove it won't break, go completely haywire, or rack up a massive bill. And this whole pre-launch phase is built on one simple, powerful idea: evaluation-gated deployment. Honestly, the best way to think about it is like a bouncer at a super exclusive club. No new piece of code gets past the velvet rope to see the users until it passes a strict automated ID check that proves it's safe, reliable, and on the list. This process works kind of like an automated quality funnel. First, you have these super fast, simple checks to catch any obvious bugs right away. If it passes, it moves on to a staging environment, which is basically a perfect replica of the real world, for much tougher, more comprehensive tests. Only after it passes every single one of those gates is it finally allowed a slow, carefully watched release to actual people. And this right here, this is how you stop that rogue customer service agent we talked about. You build security in from the very beginning. It starts with what's called a constitution, written right into the agent's core code. That's reinforced by filters that block sketchy requests, and it's all constantly pressure tested by teams whose only job is to try and break it. Okay, so the agent made it through the gauntlet. It's live. But now the challenge completely changes. You're not just deploying software anymore. You are managing an autonomous system that can literally think and act on its own out in the wild. Once it's live, the absolute first rule is observe. You have to be able to see everything the agent is thinking, everything it's doing. This means taking all its complex internal reasoning and turning it into clear data, clear metrics. Because if you can't see what's happening, you are flying completely blind. But just watching is useless if you don't have the ability to act. These are your levers of control, your emergency brakes, your steering wheel. They're what lets you manage costs, performance, and security threats in real time, the second you spot a problem. And finally, you evolve. This is what closes the loop. It's not just about fixing bugs as they pop up. It's about taking the insights from what you observed in the real world and using them to make the entire system fundamentally smarter, safer, and better for the next time. Now, this security playbook is a perfect example of that observe, act, evolve loop in a crisis. You observe a threat, and you immediately act by hitting a circuit breaker. Think of it as a big red emergency off switch to contain the damage instantly. Then, minutes later, you triage. And finally, you evolve by pushing a permanent fix through that same automated pipeline, making the whole system stronger than it was before. So, let's say you've mastered operating one agent. Fantastic. But what happens when your company has dozens of them, all built by different teams for totally different jobs? Well, what usually happens is they end up in their own little worlds, these isolated silos. The sales agent has no idea how to talk to the support agent. The analytics agent can't get data from either one of them. And it creates this massive inefficiency where every team is basically rebuilding the same wheels over and over again. The solution is a common language, a set of standards. You've got MCP for simple tools. That's like telling a wrench, turn this bolt. It's a direct command. But for complex collaboration, you have the agent-to-agent protocol, or A2A. That's like asking an expert analyst agent, hey, can you figure out why our customer churn is up and give me 3 strategies to fix it? See the difference? One is a command, the other is a conversation.
A2A basically gives every agent a digital business card called an agent card. This card says, here's who I am and here's what I'm really good at, so other agents can find it and delegate complex jobs to it. It transforms them from a bunch of isolated workers into a truly collaborative, intelligent team. So when you take all these pieces, the pre-launch gauntlet, that live operational loop, and the collaborative protocols, and you put them all together, you get a single unified playbook for success.
And that discipline is called AgentOps. It's the essential bridge across that last mile from a cool demo to a real product. It's the total package. The people, the processes, the technology, all working together to turn something fragile into something you can rely on to drive real value for your business. But here's the real kicker. The ultimate value of doing all this work isn't just about safety and playing defense. It's about velocity. It's about speed. When you have this tight, automated feedback loop, you can turn an insight from a user interaction into a deployed improvement in a matter of hours, not weeks or months. And that is a massive competitive advantage. So, what should you take away from all this? Well, if you're just starting out, focus on the fundamentals, build your first set of test cases, and automate your deployment pipeline. If you're already scaling, then your focus should be on automating that feedback loop and standardizing how your agents talk to each other. There's a clear path forward no matter where you are. And this whole journey we've been on leads us to one final, pretty provocative thought. We're moving so fast from building single, isolated AIs to orchestrating these vast, collaborative, intelligent systems. The discipline of agent ops isn't just about making today's agents work. It's the foundation that's going to make that incredible future possible.